from the broadcasting crew and myself for joining us on our February 1st English news broadcast. We are ready for a domestic and international report, and we invite you to stay with us up until the end. But first, the top stories. Annual conference of Eritrean Medical Association conducted in Asmara. Sports activities conclude in the Gaza subzone. In our international, Israel accused of violating ceasefire agreement with Hamas. And India forecasts steady growth despite US tariffs. Welcome again. To begin with our domestic news, the Eritrean Medical Association conducted its 27th annual conference on January 31st at the Asmara Palace Hotel. In his opening speech, the president of the association, Dr. Mismai Gabrihiwet, said that the occasion would have a significant contribution in sharing experiences and knowledge, discussing future programs, as well as creating a conducive ground for conducting research on the activities of the association. Dr. Mismai stated that the launching of a website, the medical education sessions that were well attended and highly appreciated by participants, as well as educational and promotional programs on public health have been the main activities carried out by the association. At the conference, research papers were presented focusing on risk factors associated with male infertility, the indications and frequency of evisceration at Burhan Aini Ophthalmic Referral Hospital, clinical and radiographic features of neonatal osteogenesis imperfecta with intrauterine fractures, bronchoscopy first experience at Eritrea National Referral and Teaching Hospital, assessment of parents' awareness about cleft lip and palate risk factors among patients visiting the Eritrea National Referral Hospital Maxillofacial Department, and unusual presentation of Plasmodium falciparum infection of erythroblasts and its diagnostic challenge. The participants conducted extensive discussions on the research presented and adopted various recommendations, including strengthening the participation of members and enhancing relations and cooperation with related associations. The participants also discussed the plan of action for the year 2026 and elected a new executive committee, including president and advisors. The Eritrean Medical Association was established in 1983 during the armed struggle for national independence. In another news, sports activities for the year 2024-2025 in the Gaza subzone were concluded at a ceremony organized on January 31st. In the competition, which included athletics and football and saw the participation of 28 villages from the subzone in both genders, Mbaderho emerged as the winner of the final football match, defeating Beleza. Mr. Asmerom Tsagabrhan, Director General of Sports and Culture of the Central Region, noting that the program would have a significant contribution in identifying the talents of youth in the subzone, called for reinforced participation by all concerned. Mr. Kiflamariam Gabermeskel, administrator of the subzone, called on area administrators to strengthen participation in efforts to nurture competent sports competitors who can represent their country in international events. At the event, awards were handed out to winners and certificates of recognition were presented to other participants. Do stay tuned, dear viewers, for we shall be back with international news after the short break. Welcome back. Our international begins with Israel. The country has violated the ceasefire agreement with Hamas 1,450 times since it took effect on October 10, 2025, killing 524 people and injuring 1,360 within 111 days, said a statement from Gaza's media office on Saturday. The statement said that at least 111 people were killed between early morning and late morning hours of Saturday when an Israeli airstrike hit a tent for displaced people. Medical institutions also reported that an airstrike on a residential apartment building in western Gaza City killed 4 people, including 2 girls and 1 woman, with several others injured. Another residential apartment in eastern Gaza City was also hit by Israeli forces, with injuries reported. The statement from Gaza's media office also said the documented violations include gunfire, armored vehicle incursions into residential areas, airstrikes and targeted attacks, as well as the demolition of civilian homes. Civilians make up the vast majority of those casualties, it said. According to the statement, the volume of humanitarian aid entering Gaza has fallen far short the level stipulated in the ceasefire agreement. Of the 66,600 aid, commercial and fuel trucks that were supposed to enter Gaza, only 28,927 were allowed through, with fuel trucks taking up just 2.7% of the required number. The statement accused Israel of failing to meet multiple obligations under the agreement, including opening border crossings, providing material necessary for infrastructure and maintenance, and allowing the entry of medical equipment. Moving on to India, the country's economy is projected to record steady growth in the 2026-2027 financial year, powered by strong domestic demand despite the impact of U.S. tariffs, the country's finance ministry said on Thursday. The federal government's economic survey tabled in Parliament on Thursday projected GDP growth in the next financial year, which begins in April, to be between 6.8% and 7.2%, only slightly lower than the current year's projection of 7.4%. The upward revision in the projected figures for 2025-2026 comes after U.S. President Donald Trump imposed a 50% tariff on India in August, half of which was a punitive measure for India's purchases of Russian oil. To mitigate the impact of the U.S. tariff and boost demand, India slashed the goods and services tax in September. Last year, India overtook Japan to become the world's 4th largest economy, behind the US, China and Germany, according to official figures. India is also trying to diversify its trade basket. The country has finalized a trade deal with the EU this week after signing pacts with the UK, Oman and New Zealand last year. It is in talks with nearly a dozen trade blocs and countries for similar deals. This wraps up our domestic and international report for this session. Dear viewers, once more I present you the top stories. Annual Conference of Eritrean Medical Association conducted in Asmara. Sports activities conclude in the Serajara subzone. In our international, Israel accused of violating ceasefire agreement with Hamas. And India forecasts steady growth despite U.S. tariffs. This was The World on Sunday with ERi-TV English News broadcast. Dear viewers, from all of us here, thank you for watching.